Okay, so the thing that we were dealing with on the fireside chats happens to be forgiveness. And how do you get to that place where you forgive? How do you move past it to where you suddenly feel like a value again? And like Renee said, like your gift, I don't know how. There's some people I'm still trying to forgive, and I think the biggest part of forgiveness, the hardest thing to go, that's the biggest hindrance in forgiveness, is the fear of it happening again. It's like a weakness. If I forgive them, does this open up an opportunity for them to hurt me again? And I think people use that fear as a shield. You have that fear there. If you forgive them, they're you're opening yourself back up for another betrayal. I don't know how to, it is hard to put that shield down. It is hard to move past. But the two things I can offer is like a guidance to dealing with those negative emotions that when you think of your betrayal or your violation or that act that against you, when you have that moment of intense just anger and hurt and sadness and despair, how do you move past it? Well, in order to move past it, you have to first be able to squash those emotions. You have to get to that point where it's not seriously affecting you. So there's two things, and I learned them in psychology. The first is where you take that moment of betrayal, you take it and you imagine it in your head as a photo or a movie, and you take that moment and you focus on it, and you stare at it in your head. You just close your eyes and you imagine it, and then you pull up every emotion that makes you feel: the anger, the hurt, the resentment, the despair. You take that and you attach it to that picture in your head, and then what you do, you focus on it, and you really, really, kind of how Renee said, you let it saturate you until you really feel it. And then you take that photo in your head and you make it smaller, and you make it smaller, and you just push it away. And as you're doing this, you shrink everything to fit. That includes your emotions with it. As the picture gets smaller, so does the feeling, until you've pushed it so far away that it's insignificant. You realize that these emotions are so far away now, you can easily step over it and you can begin your healing. The other method is the empty chair therapy. It doesn't work well for me in the sense that you're supposed to pull an empty chair up next to you, and you're supposed to envision that person who hurt you, and you tell them everything you want to say to them. What hurt you, why it hurt you, why you're upset, why you're angry, how it made you feel, and you work through it. Now, the reason that doesn't work for me is because, I it doesn't work for me because I can't talk to empty space. I'm talking empty space now, but I mean, I cannot sit and stare at an empty chair and feel validated. So what I do, and it's about the same, it's a little different. You write them a letter, and you write down every single thing you've wanted to say to them, how that hurt you, how you're betrayed, and after that, you take that letter, and when you read through it, and you realize that everything's okay, you tear the letter up, you throw it in the trash, and you move past it. Now, if you read through that letter and you're so upset, you can't bring yourself to tear it up, you hold on to it. You hold on to that letter, and you keep it, and go back to it every now and then, and read through it. When you get to the point, you're reading through your letter, and it's not so strongly affecting you that you can just say, I can tear this letter up now. You've pushed past those emotions. By going back and reading it, you're saturating yourself. You are reliving that anger. And when you get to the point where it's not affecting you anymore, you can let it go and you can tear it up. The next biggest hurdle is the fear. So how do you move past the fear? How do you get to the point where you can take down your fear shield? You say, you know what, you've hurt me, and I forgive you. Because I think that's the biggest problem with forgetting it. It's not so much forgetting, it's people say they don't want to forget, and that's the fear. You know, you have your shield up. I forgive you for the negative pain you've caused me, but at the same time, I can't forget because I have this fear you're going to hurt me again. So how do you move past that?